welcome to another episode of Disqualified. I'm Trevin, joined as always by Caleb.
Hola!
And Zach, as always, is behind the camera.
And we are here to talk about NXT.
I should learn sign language so I can do sign language NXT for this, because I need something to do with my hands.
Yeah, but yeah, so we get, I mean, not to cut you off, I mean, that's a cool thought.
Yeah.
When would you have the time, because you edit now?
Good question.
Yeah. And you have other hobbies that take up most of your time. Okay, but getting into the episode, or not right away, we're just going to discuss, it was a bit of a kind of meh episode.
Yeah. So we remember last episode discussing about Raw, how we discussed that was the least amount of bullet points being at 7.
6.
Yeah, 6 for this episode of NXT.
Did you spell gauntlet wrong?
I don't think so.
I think it's GAU.
Whoops.
That is gauntlet, but that's a different gauntlet. That's like gauntlet as in it's gaudy, like it's over the top, shiny.
I think I messed up because I was thinking of the word guard instead of gauntlet.
Or guava.
Wait, no, guard is also spit. I boofed. I'm sorry. But anyways, we open the show with deciding who Ricky Saint's opponent is going to be in a fatal 4-way between Wesley, Eddie Thorpe, Mr. Calling White People Out, your Heritage Cup champion Lexis Keane, and All Ego Ethan Page.
Now, I will be 100% transparent with you folks. I missed most of the first hour because I was playing The Last of Us.
Yeah, he got lost in The Last of Us sauce.
Oh, it's such a good game. I'm playing it for the first time, and it is... Oh, it's such a good game.
But I was able to see this match, and it was actually surprisingly pretty good. How it ended was everyone finished spamming, but Ethan got the last laugh with the twisted grin for the 1, 2, 3.
Who did he pin?
He pinned Lexis King.
Yes, have your champion take a pin. I mean, he's a champion. They recognize it as a championship. But
They don't treat it like one.
yeah, they don't treat it like one. That's for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, Ethan stands tall, but not for long, as early as he was on the by commentary earlier, the champ, but he got someone pushed into him, having him walk away from the match. But your champion, Ricky Saints, returns and beats the snot out of Ethan. Because Ethan has pissed him off as of recently, but...
Isn't that Ethan's kind of thing?
Pissing people off?
Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't complaining.
He is there to push buttons.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is very, very true.
It's literally in his nickname. He's all ego.
And now, unfortunately, the next match I've missed had one of my favorite stars in it, so I am upset. I'm going to go back and watch this.
Yeah. It was a pretty decent
upset
match.
that she did not win.
Yes, we had Tatum Paxley versus Lola Vice as another ladder match qualifier. And as Caleb spoiled, Lola Vice did defeat Tatum Paxley, leading her going on to the ladder match. How she did it is Tatum was going for her little cartwheel trick thing, and Lola escaped it, both being exhausted after a good bout. Lola just had to hit her clean A backhand for the 1, 2, 3.
Okay. But Paxley will still be on the Stand and Deliver card in the pre-show match.
Yep.
Did you write that down in the thing?
Yes, it's on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, because we are predicting that.
For a number, the bottom, Zach.
I'm not pointing that out. I'm fixing a letter. I didn't put a tail on a name.
Honk and tonk.
Shut up.
They're not geese.
Shut up.
Honk
But
and
yeah,
tonk.
she will still be on the card in a number 1 contenders match for the women's tag titles in the pre-show. Yep. And yeah,
Now we get to where I picked up midway through the match. I picked up in match 3 of this.
Yes.
So you will carry the first 2,
Yes.
and then I will be able to actually add something to the
Yes,
episode.
I will have to re-look up who did open. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, so I came in to where it was. Who was it? It was
only a 5-team
The Calling.
gauntlet. Yeah.
It was the calling when I got in.
Yeah, it was a 5-team gauntlet.
Okay,
1
so then
sec.
I got in match 2.
Okay, so we just need the opener one. Dadgum, this Clash of Clans ad.
Clash of Clans. Not sponsored by them. Oh, while we're just waiting around, you should go take a look at Throws of Chaos after
Yeah,
this.
the D&D channel. Link in the description. Okay, it was Wesley's lackeys. I'm forgetting their name.
Tyreek Igwe and Tyson DuPont.
Yep, they opened with Hank and Tank, and Hank and Tank, they got their vibe back, baby.
Mm-hmm.
They clean it well, and just double checking to see if it was the calling next.
I believe it should have been the calling. But also, Throws of Chaos is our tabletop RPG centric podcast that we're doing. It's ran by Trevin. He is
Hi.
our DM right now. I play a Kenku Artificer,
He's a little bird man.
little
Yeah.
bird cowboy.
So double checking to see if the calling, and it was the calling after.
Okay, so
yeah.
here's where I could start adding some stuff.
Yeah.
So the calling, they come in, Hank and Tank, they are having a very much back and forth bout until the calling get, I think it's Hank, up for the electric chair driver,
Mm-hmm.
and instead they drop him face first onto the announce table,
Ow.
busting his mouth open. And then Hank and Tank, they pick up their steam again.
Yep.
They pick up the win by, what was it? So,
Heads up
They-
counter from Tank.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now we move on to the third match,
Mm-hmm.
which was No Quarter Catch Crew.
Yeah.
Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne. And these,
And this match cooked.
I think it might have been the best match in the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Shame it didn't go on last.
No, but yeah, this is also the match you can see that Hank and Tank have used up a lot of their reserve, and they
Oh.
are just
Gassed. They
Yes.
are, I know what's wrong with it. Ain't got no gas in
yes,
it.
they are.
These two men ain't got no gas in
Yes,
it.
they are sweating. Their little jerseys are starting to rip. It's like, oh, they have been put through heck this gauntlet. But they ain't done as they pick up another win, moving on to the last team.
Which was surprising that it was the last team. It was Josh Briggs and Koshiki Inumura?
Yoshi.
Yoshiki Inumura.
Yeah.
Yoshi.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it mixed up. My apologies. Yoshiki Inumura.
Yes, and give me more Inumura on screen.
Except, what was did he miss the breakup and they just counted 3, or was there supposed to be a breakup?
It was
Oh, you're talking about that spot.
Yeah, so it's the very, very end of the match.
It was a roll up.
Yeah. No, I think Briggs took the handle and still got his shoulder up a little bit to break the count because he saw Inumura wasn't getting up on time, wasn't getting there in time, but I don't know. Could it? Yeah.
I think it was just going to go on a little longer. Like, it felt like some stuff, and primarily the thing that was very bad, in my opinion, which is disappointing, I feel like it took a little longer. But we'll get to that after this. But yes, Hank and Tank pick up the win.
They run the entire gauntlet, and they are your number 1 contenders against Fraxium at Stand and Deliver.
Mirroring what the women of the SmackDown and Raw rosters did for the gauntlet match to move on to face the tag champs at Mania,
Yup.
which we're also getting at Stand and Deliver for another number one contendership.
Yep, but it is a fatal 4-way elimination style, however.
Elimination style?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am hyped for that.
Yeah.
All right, and now we get into disappointment.
It was very cheesy.
It was. We get the parking lot brawl of the D'Angelo family and Dark State.
Yep. And we see Stacks tell everyone
Trevin
that
said it's not going to show up in there.
no.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. We see Stacks did announce that Tony ain't coming because he didn't let him know about the brawl plan. He didn't even sign off on it. Tony knows nothing about this brawl. And Dark State's ready for it, and so is the family with crowbars in hand.
Yeah, and the fight commences with punches I've only seen rivaled in a Power Rangers episode. No, legitimately. This is what the brawl looked like. It looked like a Power Rangers episode where they just forgot the suits and the effects and all the noises.
It was interesting. I feel like they were going for like a Godfather / West Side Story vibe, but those fights were a whole lot better than this one in terms of camera angling, general vibe and attitude and body language of the people.
It was a parking lot brawl. I shit you not.
For 30 seconds.
Yeah, for 30 seconds.
Before they bust down the back door and turn it into a backstage brawl where, to be fair, a real cool spot happens with Osiris getting put through a drywall.
Yep.
The parking lot part, not very good. The backstage part was sick.
Mm-hmm.
They eventually make it back into the parking lot, dent the F out of I believe it was a RAV4.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's when we hear tire screech and the Don. Tony pulls up and cleans house. Cops show up. Dark State books it. Stax said they should book it too, but Tony's like, nah, I called them. There are people. But what the F were you thinking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're going to get the breakup at Stand and Deliver, maybe.
Yes, because Tony announces that while Stax was acting like a kid and being stupid, Tony was being a businessman and got them a match at Stand and Deliver, the family versus Dark State in a 6-man tag.
I think Osiris is going to get back from his getting put through a wall.
Yeah.
But now we move on to an actual match, and one that they managed to spoil. So, in a backstage segment, it was revealed that there is one more match to determine, which makes sense, the number one contender for the ladder match. And we're having a return that we'll know by her music. And it is a last-minute replacement. And so we move on to the match. We see Carmen Petrovich make her entrance, and then we cut to commercial. And in the graphic, Thea Hale. They've literally spoiled their own surprise for the show. And to double down on it, coming back from commercial, we see Cale Dixon. I forget his name.
I also forget his name.
But we see Cale Dixon, his buddy, and Andre Chase talking, and they're like, Andre Chase is like, I don't know if I should do it. I don't know if it's a good idea. They're pushing him to do it. And we don't know what it is. I mean, obviously we know what it is, but we don't know what it is. But we hear, I Believe in You, and Thea Hale in a backstage segment before her return, which was supposed to be a surprise. And then...
Whoops.
She comes out to new music, so you wouldn't even be able to tell by her music.
Yeah, but
She does make her return, her first singles action since the Great American Bash last year.
Yep.
And she picks up the win pretty decisively over
Yes.
Karma Petrovic.
She cleaned house.
Yeah. So she moves on. She's the last participant
Yep.
for the women's ladder match for the North American Championship.
Yep.
And that current roster is looking like
Zarya, Solruka, Lola Vice, Izzy Dame, Kalani Jordan, and last but not least, Thea Hale.
and we already have a champion in that match going for double championship status in Solruka, being crowned your new women's speed champion. Congratulations.
Wish we could see these belts on actual factual TV.
Yeah, it makes it less impactful that we can't see it on TV.
Yes, but your final segment is the contract signing. It wasn't even a contract signing. It was more of a face-to-face between your main event.
It was the better version of what happened on Raw the night before.
Yes. It was a little face-to-face between your main event of Oba Femi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. And the funniest part of this is Trick and Oba decide, let's have adult time and get this kid out of here.
There's one line that I want to point out from Javon Evans. He says, me and a couple people been thinking, we're tired of waiting for opportunities.
Yeah.
You know who else is tired of waiting for opportunities? Dark State.
Yeah.
I think it's happening. I think it's happening.
He's the leader.
I can,
Would this be considered a false flag operation?
A red herring.
Yeah, red herring.
Could.
I'm iffy on if Dark State has a leader that's not already in the group.
Bruh, I'm calling it now. I think Javon is joining Dark State. But at the end, Javon does stand tall because he
Yep.
drops both men with an
With the-
OG cutter.
Yep. Cuts them at the same time because he was sick of them just tossing him over the rope so they can duke it out. And Javon's like, nah, don't forget I'm here.
Yeah. And he grabs the belt. And as soon as he's about to raise it, OVW! My local ad was OVW Wrestling on My 24.
Yep.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Congrats. That's cool. But yeah, that was the end of the show. So, running over your stand and deliver card real quick before we start predicting. And we're not going to predict right now.
No. Separate video.
Separate video.
Yeah.
So, stand
check
and
it out.
deliver match card right now is looking like, and I think this might be in reverse order, honestly.
Yeah.
So, we'll go reverse order on screen. Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade versus Chemical X versus the Meta Girls versus Fatal Influence
On the pre-show.
on the pre-show, right after we talked about how there were no pre-show matches.
Did they like...
That is so funny. Right after
Who's
we
wearing the
talked
wire?
about- Gordon said he does have Triple H's number.
Dadgummit!
No, but that is so funny. But yeah, so that is a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Eliminator match
Yep.
for number one contendership to the winner of a WrestleMania match, which is Lyra Valkyria and Bailey versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day for the Women's Tag Team Championships.
Yo.
And that match will take place Tuesday.
Yes?
Yeah, they said Tuesday.
Okay, yes.
Well, they said it'll take place Tuesday. So, and then next, from what we believe is reverse order, we have the Women's North American Championship ladder match, which consists of Zarya, your new Women's Speed Champion, Sol Ruka, Lola Vice, Izzy Dame, Kalani Jordan, and Thea Hale.
Yep. And then we have your men's North American Championship match with your champion Ricky Sainz versus Ethan Page.
And now we have the Family versus Dark State in a 6-man tag match. Members of Dark State to be determined.
Yup, but the Family, you can probably guess. Then we have for the NXT Tag Champions, your champions Fraxium, officially canonized as of a couple months ago, versus Hank and Tank.
And now we get your NXT Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Your NXT Women's Champion Stephanie Vaquer versus Julia versus Jada Parker
Miss
versus
Parker.
Jordan Grace.
The Juggernaut. And your main event, it is a triple threat for the men's NXT Championship. Your champion, the ruler, Obafemi, versus Trick Williams.
Whoop that trick.
Versus that boy bouncy Javon Evans.
Yeah, stacked card.
This card is cooking.
I think they've done several stories better than what
Mania
has
card.
done, because several of these stories are mirroring what Mania is looking like.
Yes.
But I'll save that discussion for Stand and Deliver predictions.
Yeah.
Which this belt placeholder is for the NXT Predictions Championship. It will be Zach, Trevin, and I.
Yes.
But yes, we will see you right after this for that.
Yeah.
But be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell 3 times so you know the match is over. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Bye!